This is getting dangerous, guys. This isn't fear mongering. I'm going to show you the facts, figures, numbers, logic. We've been preparing since 2020 for this moment in time. And I've been sharing with everybody. We're in the greatest wealth transfer in human history. But now you're starting to see the cracks in the foundation. We can physically see what is actually happening all over the world. We're starting to see central banks stack gold, and I'm going to show you where their reserves are heading towards now. But we also have an interesting dynamic that is happening. Stablecoins. So I'm going to show you what the future of finance is. I'm going to continue to tell you exactly what I am doing, not financial advice. What I'm working to do is to allow you the opportunity to research this, to build conviction, to understand the future monetary system. Let's just talk reality right now. Do you honestly, logically think that the next 10 years, your financial system is going to look the same? The US dollar has been weaponized since 1913. We detached from the gold standard in 1971, which made our money fake, fiat money. By 1976, we went into hyperinflation because they were losing control of the economy. And in 1988 to 1990, we went into financialization, debt expansion. Then we had one of the presidents that came in, Clinton, which created subprime mortgages, which caused the ripple effect that collapsed the housing market going into 2006 to 2008, which was our crisis stage. This is our crisis stage right now, which completely destroyed our parents' retirement. In 2009, Bitcoin was created. All of a sudden, when Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa came together to de-dollarize. And go study where that name was created. It was a company in America, somebody within a company in America and a financial firm that created the name and talked about if Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa came together, they could de-dollarize from the West. Well, they are. They're detaching from the West. 2009, Bitcoin is created. By 2012, Ripple, Aquarius, Ripple was created, which created XRP, a bridge currency that can move value through the system. So we had Bitcoin was created. XRP was created. And then Rosie Rio said you need a shock to the system to change consumer behaviors. Well, guess what? You're here. This is not conspiracy. This is not fear mongering. We are here. This is the transition that everybody's been talking about. They are positioning themselves as we sit back and we stare and we argue about the Epstein files. We sit back and we stare when the aliens are going to come out of the sky. We sit down, we stare, and all the distractions that they're creating as they're changing the whole system this way. I can't sell you hype. I can't sell you hopium. What I can sell you is hard work, discipline, and dedication over the next 3 years to position your family to take advantage of the biggest shift in generational wealth. That's what we did. So I'm going to break down exactly what I believe is happening. I'm always going to tell you exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to break down my portfolio. I'm going to share with you why I'm doing it. And I'm going to be open and transparent so you can come back and measure my success. Okay. That's the key factor when the era of authenticity. So this was posted, and I want you to really understand what this means. On February 23rd, 2026, just in, gold overtakes US dollar as largest global reserve asset. I want you to digest that for just a moment, okay? Gold overtakes US dollar as largest global reserve asset. Global reserve asset. Central banks are now stacking gold, not US treasuries, okay? But Trump comes in. Remember, 9 years ago, he said we're going to be on an even playing field monetarily before you know it. He was no to crypto. Jamie Dimon, no to crypto. Larry Fink, no to crypto. And all of a sudden, Trump comes back and runs as the crypto capital of the world, the Bitcoin president, creates a sovereign wealth fund, a Bitcoin strategic reserve, and launches the Stablecoin Act, the Genius Act. Genius, because what does that do? It uses 60% short-term treasuries. He basically saved the US dollar from collapsing through stablecoins. So that's your first hint. Stablecoins are your future of your monetary system. A stablecoin is not an investment. Think of a stablecoin as the dollar, okay? Stable, backed, supposedly stable, backed by US treasuries, Okay. That creates 1-to-1. So you would exit from a crypto into a stablecoin. A stablecoin cannot go into a traditional bank. Okay. So, for example, let me give you an example. This is one of the biggest questions I get. Okay. Cryptocurrency or a crypto would be XRP, Bitcoin, Solana, XLM. If you sold from a crypto and you move it into a stablecoin, that's a sale. That's not crypto to crypto. It's crypto to a stablecoin. A stablecoin is backed by US Treasuries 60%. And they have some other mixes in there, right? So that means when you exit into a stable coin, okay, that is a value 1-to-1 to the dollar. So it stays stable. It's not going to go up and down. It's not an investment. And that is a sale. Okay. That would create a taxable event. Number two is that stable coins, you cannot transfer from a stable coin, USDC, RLUSD, USAT, USD1, straight into your bank account because there's no connection. Okay. Unless the bank had USD1, USDC, which is going to come. Okay. They're all going to probably have their own stable coin. What you have to do is you have to go into your cash account in an exchange and then go to your bank account. Do you see why the banks are panicking? Because right now on Coinbase, and I'll get into the rest of this, I want you to really understand this, okay? On Coinbase, I can earn 3% on my US dollar just sitting there. So I take my US dollar, I put the excess on Coinbase in my expense account, and I earn 3% in USDC. Why the hell would I store it in a bank account when it's earning zero and they lend 100% of my money out? That makes zero sense. So do you see why the banks are freaking out about the Clarity Act? Why they're panicking? Because why would I store my excess capital inside of my bank account, a traditional bank account, when they're giving me 0.01% and they hold 0% of my money as a reserve and they're lending it out to you, which every single dollar in the system is debt. So I take my excess cash and I store it in USDC, got my Coinbase debit card, and I'm earning 3% cash back in Bitcoin. Do you see why they're panicking? Do you see why the system is changing? Okay. So that's really important to understand. So gold is now the favored reserve asset for the world. Okay. Now, this is where things are going to start to change pretty dramatically. This is what you're going to see. I'm going to teach you how this is going to work. So, Mark Zuckerberg, do you guys remember when he was pushing out, what was it called? I can't remember. What was the name of it? Anyway, so Mark Zuckerberg Meta is planning stablecoin comeback in H2. Is that supposed to be quarter two? In H2, I think it might be Q2, eyeing the third party vendor as a key partner to power payments across Facebook. So you're going to see X payments come out, Facebook payment come out. Guys, the financial system is going to be completely rewired. So that's your hint. Where would you position yourself? That's why I love XRP as my top. Okay. Bitcoin, I'm going to show you why Bitcoin is my number two. Okay. So we're moving into stablecoin. Now, why I bring that up is because money's moving really, 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 really fast. Okay. And you're going to need a bridge to move all that money back and forth. You know, when I hear people say, oh, why wouldn't they just use a stablecoin over X? Dude, stablecoin is a form of currency. XRP is a bridge to that currency. There's no, it's not a competition. Okay, if you have a Bank of America stablecoin and you have a Wells Fargo stablecoin, XRP can move that value across the system. If you have, if China has its own stablecoin and America has its own stablecoin, I can move it back and forth. Every bank is going to have its own stablecoin. What you'll have is choice. We're heading into the area of decentralization. You will be able to be the bank. You will have governance. You will have choice. You'll be able to participate with the bank. That's what decentralized finance is. Okay. Now, this is another shot across the bow to banks right here. Circle, which we know is connected to BlackRock. Momentum is building in the internet native finance, and our Q4 is full, and our Q4 and full year 2025 results show it. Okay. Look at the growth, guys. Look at the growth. USDC, the stablecoin growth is unbelievable. USDC in circulation, that's a stablecoin. Okay. That's the one that I use on Coinbase, 72% year over year. Okay. 11.9 trillion in USDC on-chain transactions, up 247% year over year. 770 million total revenue and reserves, up 77 per year. Circle is building the economy on OS for the internet economy. I don't know what OS stands for. Enabling everything from frictionless cross-border payments to the world of emerging possibilities with agentic AIs. Our platform is centered for financial transformation. That's what's coming. Okay. So this is what I was sharing with you guys with WFI. And you guys, it's my number 3 holding. Now I'm going to share with you guys why in just a moment. And I want to make it very clear. I'm very proud of this. I've never, ever been paid by a cryptocurrency company. I've never been paid to promote a token, and I never will. The companies that I promote, I own, or I have my own money in. For example, I Trust Capital is one of our partners. We are partnered with I Trust Capital. We have our treasury in I Trust Capital. My family's wealth, my main crypto is held for my family's wealth legacy in I Trust Capital. Okay. We only promote things that we own or we use. That's it. Okay. Very, very clear because it's very important for you to build discernment. I'm going to go into that in just a moment. Trump linked stablecoin wobbles as WFI says it's under a coordinated attack. So the reason why they're under coordinated attack is because the other political party does not want this to happen. So just think of it this way. Let's take out politics. Think of Jekyll Island, the old centralized system, that greed, the power, the holding on to, the centralized, the 1% can only be the 1%. Spiritually, take out Trump, take out the left, take out everything. Spiritually, we're in a new era of cooperation. We have sovereignty, governance, public and private sector coming together, expansion, growth, creation. That's nobody's going to stop that. This is what God created. The cycle is actually here, and the assets are representing that. So that's another view for it for you. Another way to view it, put that lens on, is that God intended it this way. Creation is expanding right now. So if creation is expanding and God intended it that way, and it always cycles back to the way, the truth, and the life, then wouldn't you be thinking differently about your finances? Wouldn't you be thinking differently about your banking? Because if you're in a banking system right now that they take all that's greedy, they just take from you and take from you and take from you. That era is dead, guys. February 20th, 2026, that era died. We're heading into a new era. But remember, JP Morgan said this, not me. Billionaire or millionaires use charts, billionaires use astrology. Guys, they use astrology in the cycles. Call them cycles. You can argue about astrology all day, guys. They use astrology. They use the stars. How did they find Jesus? How did Herod find Jesus? The North Star. How did he know that the risen King, the Son of God, Jesus Christ, in the flesh was coming? Guys, they've been using what God created to push us to look this way for a very, very long time. It's time to wake up, man. It's really, really time to wake. It's time to get logical. Let me just bring you guys on. I want to show you. Let me just show you these two things, and then we're gonna have a little pep talk here. Okay. Bitcoin went from 2 nation states to 23. 5 countries joined in 2025 alone: Brazil, Czech Republic, Luxembourg, Saudi Arabia, and Taiwan. Look at this growth in countries coming into Bitcoin, guys. Look at this growth, and this is Bitcoin treasuries. Guys, there was one Bitcoin treasury in 2020. In 2020, one was Strategy. Look at this. 21 Capitals connected to XXI, which is connected to Cantor through Howard Lutnick, Commerce Secretary. Truth Media, Trump Media, right here, number 12 Bitcoin treasury in the world with 11,000 Bitcoin. Look how big Michael Saylor's is, though. 717,000 Bitcoin. Remember, BlackRock's the number 3 holder in Strategy, guys. And then you got American Bitcoin, one of my top stock investments here, continues to climb. I got it under $1 yesterday. I was so excited. So they're climbing up. Trump Media. So this is the future. Trump Media. This is Eric Trump's business here. So let me bring you on my screen. So where was I going with that? Creation, God. I just want to give you a different lens to look through, right? And we need to build logic, right? So I know we want to be attached to this 3D world and how it used to be and how our grandparents indoctrinated us, how our parents indoctrinated us. But you have to start to really, I hope you listen with discernment, okay? And I would just ask that you would please take off a biased lens as I say this and just listen with your heart, listen with discernment, because I do truly want to help you guys, because this is what helped me. Okay. I love God and I love Jesus Christ. It's I don't go to a church specifically. I'm in church every single day. I'm a Christian by my actions. I pray. I lead my family through our family. We have a creed for our family. It's God, family, protection of our ecosystem at all costs. Dad, other men's business. I'm too busy working on mine. Principles are integrity, honesty, uncompromising belief in caliber of business, family's peace, freedom, and family structure. I run my family honoring God. Okay. So when I say this stuff, I want you to know that I love God and I love Jesus Christ and I believe Jesus Christ is king. I'm unequivocally will stand on any mountain. I put it on my Twitter almost daily because I believe it. And how I can say that is because it's changed my life. That's You can argue with me all day. You can show me different documents against it, but ever since I gave my life to Jesus Christ, my life has changed. I don't like you can argue with me, you can, we can debate about it, but I was a piece of shit for a long time, just being honest. And when I surrendered to God and I surrendered my life to Jesus Christ, everything changed for me. It really did. And I started to pray for wisdom. I didn't beg. I started praying for wisdom and I've become wiser through that. And so I feel that my investments have become stronger. My businesses have become stronger. My relationships have become stronger. I'm a better father. I'm a better partner. So I just want to make this very clear before I go into this next part is I do believe in God and Jesus Christ with all my heart. Okay. But I do want to share with you a reality that I think a lot of you are struggling with is this is nothing new under the sun. And what they've done to men specifically and women, I'm going to speak to men's hearts because I'm not a woman. So I'm going to speak, my partner May always speaks to, we're going to be bringing them onto the channel as well because she's a divine feminine. I'm the divine masculine within our relationship. And when we use the word divine masculine, men are like, what are you talking about? This is really important, men, to understand. Okay. Money has divine masculine and divine feminine in it. Okay. It needs structures, it needs discipline, it needs fluidity, it needs manifestation, it needs buckets, it needs diversification. It's in the Bible. Okay. It's in the Bible. So when I say things like JP Morgan said, millionaires use charts, billionaires use astrology, guys, you have to study why he says that or why he said that. And you have to study why they are able to manipulate these markets. There is an energetic frequency that cycles over. And how am I able to share with you guys the 36-year cycle that started in 1988 to 1990 and ended on February 20th, 2026? When you say that, he's like, oh, it's a flip. No, it's not a flip of a switch. There are big energetic shifts. We are planting seeds during that time based on humanity. Humanity does the same thing over and over and over again. Okay. Your soul is just responding the way it's responding this time. We've done this over and over and over again. The difference is you're waking up a little bit to this. Some of you are feeling this, and some of you are like, this dude's out of his mind. And that's okay. That's okay. But the truth is, you have free will and a choice. The truth is, this is the same thing that they've done to us over and over and over again. Jesus came back after 18 years on a donkey. You think of this. You're like the king of the world. You're the king. And you come back in Birkenstocks and a sheet on a donkey. Why would he be on a donkey? Why would he be on a donkey? Donkey represents humility. Whatever he did for 18 years, he was humbled. And he came back and he flipped over the money changers. Sounds familiar, right? He wasn't wearing a fancy robe. He wasn't wearing, a crown on his, they put a crown on thorns on his head, but he wasn't wearing these fancy things. He wasn't hanging out in the churches. He actually went out with the people, with us. And he's looking at these people in the tax collector lines, following these rules. And they tried to mock him, right? They said, who do we pay our taxes to? He's like, who's on the coin? Caesar. He says, give your taxes to Caesar. Give to God what is his. Give to me what is mine. That's the greatest lesson ever right there, guys. You keep battling Caesar. You keep fighting these elites and you keep saying these, they, them, the 1%. When you have the same power they do to take action, you have the same power they do and the same free will to think, to walk, to talk, and to use your conscious mind for good. But what we do is we sit back and we complain and we argue and we act like it's different this time. It's not. They were clipping our coins in the Roman days. A foreign adversary came in over 500 years and turned the men into sloppy ass dudes, just like we are right now. Just look around society right now, man. Men look like women. They look like pears. Okay. Women look like men. Guys, this is not offensive. This is how it happens. It gets out of balance. The men look like women and the women look like men. That is an imbalance in divine feminine and divine masculine. Here's how it works. This is why we're so broke. Is men, you are like the sun. Okay? The sun is masculine. Earth is Gaia. Mother. She is beautiful. She creates life. Okay. Think of men and women. Sun, masculine. The sun is disciplined. If you look at your weather app, you know exactly when the sun is going to come up and you know exactly when the sun is going to go down. And imagine if the sun didn't come up, what would happen? Think about that. The winter solstice, it goes down for 3 days and it rises back up for 3 days. It's the same cycle every single time. We know exactly when winter is going to start. We know exactly when summer is going to start. Are you paying attention now? So the sun is masculine. It needs to be disciplined. It needs to be consistent. It needs to be predictable. Look around America. Men are inconsistent, undisciplined, and we're fucking unpredictable. We're sloppy as hell. So why on earth would you be blaming the woman if you're unpredictable, sloppy, and undisciplined? What that does to Gaia, if the sun didn't come up, there would be no cycles. There would be no, it two cannot be without the other. The earth would collapse. It would be complete chaos. Well, that's what's happening in the woman, is because we're sloppy. We look like women. We can't protect. We can't provide. We're not disciplined, which was just done on purpose. And so, therefore, the woman is in her masculine, which creates immature feminine, and it gets extremely chaotic. Welcome to America. That's what we're experiencing. So, men, you're waiting for XRP to go to a certain price prediction. And your woman is looking at you going, get your shit together. I'm tired of hearing about your price predictions. I'm tired of hearing you say, when this happens, we will be. She's like, how about now? How about taking the trash out? How about doing the dishes? How about helping around the house? How about becoming really good at what you do at work so you can make more money for our family? How about, stop watching your favorite football team and giving them more attention than you give us and our family? How about praying over our family? How about building a disciplined, structured financial plan? How about leading us in prayer? How about coming home and allowing me to rest? Men, this is the way, the truth, and the life. And I know you don't want to hear this, and I know I've lost 99% of you, but I'm not looking for the 99%. I'm looking for the one who understands they're the generational shifter in their family, is tired of being sloppy, is tired of being financially unstable, is tired of not being there for their family, is tired of watching pornography and jerking off to things online, which they've created for us to make us imbalanced. That is by design. Everything easy is free. Getting wealthy is not. Wealth takes discipline, consistency done for a long enough period of time to access that new paradigm. And every single one of us has access to it. And here's the difference. Is out of 100 people, this is a fact. We coach 14,000 people. There's one out of 100. One. I don't know why that math is that way, because there's a one person where their soul wakes up and finally says, "Oh, it's me. It's you. I will look you in the eyes. It's you. It's not Trump. It wasn't Biden. It wasn't going to be Kamala. It wasn't the left. It wasn't the right. It wasn't the toxic dude in his Lamborghini. It wasn't the blue-haired lady that you keep yelling at. It's you. It's you." And that's what Jesus Christ was telling us. It's you. And when you realize that you created your financial situation, that you created the imbalance in your relationship, when you realize that you became physically unfit. Now, I'm not talking about medical problems. I'm talking about self-induced financial. I'm talking about self-induced physical. I'm talking self-induced spiritual lack. You did that. And the reason why you can't see what's coming is because you can't see what you are. So it's time to become a warrior in a garden versus a gardener in a war. It's time to put the blinders on. It's time to get disciplined physically, spiritually, and financially. And it's going to take hard work and dedication. It's going to take discipline. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to cut back. You're going to have to create a budget. You're going to have to say no, 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 no. We can't do that right now, because I'm telling you what, men, the middle class is getting wiped out. The middle class is a new concept. I have a whole project coming around this. A middle class is a new concept. There used to be very, very wealthy and the working class. And that's coming back. And I'll tell you what, you have an extremely, extremely rare opportunity right now to get your shit together. So I'm not going to sell you hype. I'm not going to sell you hopium. I'm going to sell you hard work, discipline, dedication, and getting your shit together. So I hope this information reaches your heart well. And I hope you understand what he means by, and I'm not supporting this or saying it's right, wrong. When JP Morgan says millionaires use charts, billionaires use astrology. Let's use the word cycle. What you're facing right now is a cycle that you've experienced over and over and over again. And you're either going to decide to master it or you're going to decide to repeat it. And it ain't nobody else's fault. So where will you be in 3 years from now? We do conferences every single year. And often I see the same people that are in the same position over and over. This time it'll be different, JV. No, it won't. No, it won't. You know it won't. Because you're not willing to do what it takes. You're still acting like the broken little boy. You're still doing the same stupid shit. It's not going to be different. You're still complaining about the government and complaining about your job and complaining about your ex and complaining about this. Nobody cares. The people you're complaining to can't help you, and the people who can help you won't listen to you complain. You're not setting boundaries. You said yes to everything. You can't control your lust. You have no budget. You're not providing safety. You're not providing security. And so, of course, the women in your life are chaotic because you are. Remember, the sun needs to be disciplined. The sun needs to be consistent. And the sun must be predictable in order for Gaia to rise. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. And if you're still here, I love you. Talk to you soon. Warriors, let's get your shit together. Let's go.